model. She was my pre-done model. I basically did what you call a hairgami technique on her. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, which you should, at Larissa Doll. Please do if you don't. You will know what I'm talking about for the hairgami technique, okay? And so basically, we did this mauve-y, gorgeous, rosy tone on her, and that blend is to die for. And today, we decided to go for more of that vintage look, okay? You guys like? Yeah? All right, and then, this is my model from yesterday for those that were here. As you can tell, she got a lot of lightness, okay? She was completely a brunette. And I still kept her in the level 7 type of form. And I did a hairgami on her, hairgami technique on her as well. But you can see the difference that you can do with these techniques, that it can still look completely different with the same technique. Beautiful, right guys? Yes, awesome.
All right, so this is my model from yesterday. Yesterday I showed you guys wet cutting with a scissor and with a razor, with a straight blade. Today I'm gonna be showing you something completely different. So we did a lot of short hair yesterday. Today we're gonna be doing all long hair, and we're gonna be working dry. Just to recap what we did on her, we did a short round graduation with a straight blade yesterday, just to contour her head shape. We did a little bit of like a baby fringe, which I think is really nice. She's got a beautiful face, great eyebrows, and we wanted to open that up really nicely. And then we left this disconnected top and put a little concave layer, something that moves short to long. And we did it a little bit biased, so the corners come off of it, so it'll hug the head shape a little bit more. I think it's really cool, really fun, really messy, and it can have a lot of different options. If she wants to split this down the middle, she can feel like she has a little bit of a short bob, and she can go right to left with it as well. For her color, we used Joico Intensity. We did a little bit of block color. This is like a peach mixed with the bronze, and then we just did a yellow in 2 different panels right here. So you get all these beautiful pops of yellow that come out. And when she moves it around, you can see it more and more. And if she were to split it down the middle, she'll feel very yellow. And side to side, she's gonna feel more peach with yellow accents. All right, so we'll have you hop up, and you can have a seat on the stage right up here. Afterwards, at the Connect Lounge, feel free to pick through her haircut if you guys wanna see the shape anymore. Then you can have a seat right here. And I'm gonna be showing you guys some dry haircutting today, which for me is essential in the salon. I cut almost all of my long hair dry, and I want to show you guys why you should cut hair dry, right? Because I cut hair dry a lot of the time because I'm a full service hairdresser. Does anybody do cut and color? You cut and color all your clients, right? Perfect. And I think that I was departmentalized for maybe 3 years. I only cut hair. But now, for the last 6 or 7 years, I've been doing both. And because we do a lot of big color changes, I want the flow of the salon to go well. I want to be able to cut first, color second, so I can color to my haircut. So I'll show you guys what she came in with, and then as we get started cutting, you can see how we can make some big changes. So the first thing I noticed when I lift up her hair is that these layers are maybe just a little bit off, right? Looks good. So we're gonna change that. I'm gonna be working a dry concave layer on her, a layer that moves from short to long, to give her a lot of beautiful movement, to blend all the way out to these long lengths. She was very adamant about not wanting to lose too much length. But you can see you can get big changes by keeping length with simple techniques. And her hair is actually pretty curly, but she can wear it curly and straight. And when this curls up, we're gonna see it expand and be really beautifully balanced. All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. So yesterday, I taught the idea of putting color in really horizontally in slices. So I had 3 triangles on either side, and I did tone on tone. So what you don't see when the hair is flat is these shadows that happen. And for all intents and purposes, I could have probably used something like black. Can you guys see those lowlights in there? When you put color in a horizontal slice in the same direction that the hair falls, it turns into like a veil. And I used 3 different colors of purple to give her a really multi-dimensional color. And this is probably the most salon-friendly technique that I'm gonna teach you. And, you know, just taking shapes. Start with a triangle, start with a circle, start with a square. Hers was just 3 triangles right on the head, and I just picked a foiling pattern, and it just so happened on the sides, I went perpendicular to where the hair grows. So the hair grows down, and I went, put the foils across, and the same thing in the front. So, yeah, you guys like it. You can do that, it's okay. So, the other idea that I wanted to teach is we get so used to matching things from side to side that I wanted to show you guys what it's like when you block color and you don't match things. So, there's all kinds of craziness in this color.
I love that moment, it's so nice.
But it was done in 3 sections. Go ahead, yeah.
Go ahead.
So you can see on the sides, It's everywhere. These are 3 rectangles, and within the rectangles, I took diagonal sections, and I just went red, red, red melting to orange, 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 orange melting to yellow, yellow, yellow. And you get this really crazy, like, look. If you're working with a photographer, you're gonna have, like, a ton of different looks. And what I'd like to do is, on one side, see on that side, I melted to yellow. On this side, I melted to red, so that when she does flip her hair from side to side, she gets something completely different instead of the same thing from side to side. So that's the concept, but this was all done with rectangles. And then I wanted to show you, and those went like this, and just kind of diagonal, offset diagonals, and then within those rectangles, put in diagonal foils going in that, so you don't just like go right up. I wanted to do something really natural, and you guys can see this beautiful green and yellow ombre that is actually just a circle that I put on the top of her head. And what I did is I went, within this circle, she's shaved on one side, yes. I went kind of diagonally this way, and then the last triangle that I had in the back, let's have you turn around, I went vertically. So I put those foils in just like this. So I think that a lot of times we're so used to color melting the whole head of hair, and if you know where the hair ends, you can make somebody's entire head look like they have fashion color, and it's not super damaging to their hair. It looks so much different. It's done with purpose, right? And it's so easy to retouch, and we can do these services in the salon and get a lot of bang for our buck without having to charge everything for the client. And you know, when you've only pre-lightened this much of the hair and she wants to go to work, she can totally hide that, and it's much more appropriate. So this was just one circle right on the top of her head, and then I just did diagonal foils going one way. And once I had like a triangle left, I just took the diagonal foils going vertically in the back, so you get more of stripes. And I just went blue, yellow, green, blue, yellow, green.
Beautiful. All right, so since I taught the hairgami technique yesterday, I decided to teach a different technique today. There's many clients out there that can't afford a full service, and so today I want to teach you a technique called the halo balayage. It's a service that you can cut in half for your price, or it really depends on what your prices are, but for me, I cut it in half. And it's a service that is extremely quick. You can literally be done with the service in 10 minutes and bam, on to the next client. And that way she can still have that brightness and balayage that she really wants, but just not a full head because she just can't afford it at the moment. I understand sometimes we get busy, we don't have time for a full service, or we just don't have money for a full service, okay? So let's talk about my tools. I'm just using my Diane comb, Mepco. You can get it at CosmoProf. It's like $5, not even that. I'm obsessed with this comb because the teeth are wide, okay? That's really important for when I do baby lights. If you get a comb that's much closer, you're gonna wipe out all that beautiful work that you're doing. So this is the comb that I'm using. Who else here uses Fringe? Okay, that's not enough people. All you guys need to go to the photo booth or to CosmoProf Beauty Store and get a Fringe brush. I'm telling you, you will never go back. This is the only brush that I balayage with. This is the only brush that Phil and Jacob balayage with. We are obsessed with it because the bristles are so soft. They're doing all the balayage work for you, all that blending for you, okay? And then I'm using Free Play, right? Yes, I always call it clay play for some reason. Free Play by Joico, and we're using 40 volume, okay? It's 2 scoops and bam, that's all I need. All right, so the halo balayage is basically gonna be surfacing around her head. I'm not gonna go deep into it. I'm not gonna be sectioning out any sections like that, but she's still gonna have tons and tons of brightness and balayage, especially around the face, and that's what we're going for. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the front, so that way she can have the most time to process. And I'm gonna split it in the middle. I don't care how she splits her hair to what side, because I'm gonna balayage her so that way it's cohesive no matter how she decides to split her hair naturally, all right? We're gonna take diagonal forward sections. And how you know if you're taking a diagonal forward or back section, just think if you're gonna put a little ball right here, or a marble, how's it gonna fall? Is it gonna fall forward or back? And that's how I always know, because it kind of confuses me sometimes too, right? All right? So I'm gonna put clay lightener on my wrist, like so. And the reason why I do that is because I don't want to go back and forth, because that's going to take a lot of time. It's going to add up over time, at least 5 to 10 minutes, and time is what? Exactly, okay? Also, because it's going to give me a much smoother application on my brush. So I can literally put exactly what I want, and I know it's going to be nice and smooth instead of just dumping it in, and it's going to be all blocky and just too much, and you're going to get a color correction, and that's the last thing you want. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm literally grabbing a large section, splitting the front. I'm literally splitting, her hair in the middle and the back section, and at the side sections, I'm splitting into 2, and that's it. Same thing on that side. So it's going to be a really fast and easy application. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my handy-dandy brush, get a little bit of lightener. You don't want too much lightener. Just barely so you can see it on your hand, okay? Always less is more, because you can always go back and put more on her hair, all right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start painting away. I'm gonna paint with my brush flat, like so. So that way I can get most consistency and most brightness on her hair right away. You guys are probably like, what is she doing right now, right? Just wait, all right? So I'm gonna brush it through. When I get close to the scalp, I'm always gonna go against the grain because it's gonna give me that slight tease effect already, and it's gonna give me that nice blend without me even having to try, especially because I'm using it from our brush, all right? So as I get closer to the root, I'm gonna go against the grain, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I do my baby light technique, and it's super simple, and all you need to do is have this handy dandy Diane comb, all right? So, you guys wanna see a magic trick? Yeah? Some of you guys have seen it already yesterday. So what I'm gonna do is I want more brightness around the hairline. So I'm gonna pull the baby lights much lower towards the back and hardly any baby lights towards the front because I want it to be nice and bold around the front. So if you can see, I'm gonna turn it around a little bit. You're gonna get your comb and you're gonna slightly angle it. Do not just go in and brush it out because you're literally gonna brush out all of your beautiful work. Slightly angle it, and you're gonna use only about 2 to 3 of the teeth combs and the front teeth combs. And you're gonna slightly, just think light as a feather, and comb on through, okay? Okay? If you need to wipe your brush, you totally can, but comb on through. So in the salon, what I do is I have like a water cup that I just dip it in and swiggle it around, and it's nice and clean, but here, we just wipe it off on our towel, right? So let's see. I'm gonna keep swiping through. And notice, as I'm going towards the front, I'm barely swiping. And then this is what you get. Look at these beautiful baby lights in 2.3 seconds. Amazing, right? And so, so simple. Thank you, guys, thank you. Right? Yes, I love that. All right, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna simply surface paint. This is only surface painting. You're not gonna go in and saturate the ends at all. So, you're gonna leave this, and then I'm using mesh. Framar and MB Mesh decided to have a baby, and they created MB Mesh from Framar, and that's what we're gonna be using right now. And I'm just gonna simply lay it over like this. And reason being is because I don't want heat, because I don't want extra lift. I just want a little dimension in her hair, all right? And then that way it'll give me that perfect separation. If I wanted heat, I would use their Framar foils as well. All right, so I'm just gonna keep on doing this side. And this side is the most main section. It's the most important section because it's the money piece. That's what everyone's gonna see from the beginning. If you mess up in the back, whatever, they don't care, they don't see it. I'm just kidding. But for reals, in the front, that's the first thing they see. So you're gonna really want to make sure that you add that brightness and that boldness towards the front. So I'm gonna do the same thing and wipe on through. The only difference that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go against the grain here, but the only difference is I'm actually gonna go in and wipe it all the way through like so. So when she pulls her hair back, she'll have all those sexy baby lights. You guys see that? And how fast was that? You don't ever have to weave your hair out, weave those weaves out, what? Blah, blah. I talk really fast. You don't ever have to weave out highlights ever again if you don't want to. Beautiful, right, guys? Thank you, thank you. All right, so I'm just gonna keep on going.
All right. So we're working a concave layer for her over here, which is a layer that moves from short to long. So all of our clients right now, at least all of my clients, are asking for this kind of like lived-in, messy, like that blunt softness, you know? Like I want it to be like hard, but like soft, like marshmallow steel, you know? But it's like, so how can we do that? You know, and our minds, at least like in the beginning, my mind immediately went to, I need to texturize that thing, you know? I need a point cut, I need a slide cut, I need to get my scissors, I need to get a razor out. But in actuality, our angles and our technique can give us that softness really easily. Look down just a tiny bit for me. So if we look at her hair in the back right now, does anybody ever have a client that comes in and they've got that rim of weight that sits like right around here and they're just very bulky right here? I think when we're in hair school, we jump right to round layers, right? Round layer, and we come out convex from the head shape and we cut right here. But when we cut round like that, when it falls, it starts to stack up. So that top corner is gonna give you that rim of weight that sits all the way around. If we continue our elevation and change our angle slightly and move short to long and remove that corner, we're gonna get a lot of blending. Because when we look at the back right now, you might say, that girl has a one-length haircut, right? So if I move this, we can see the amount of layers that she actually has. Incredible amount of movement. The layers are actually start very short, but they blend all the way through. And that's just from simple technique and angle. We haven't done any texturizing or anything like that, but it already looks like maybe we went through and softened that hair out all the way. So all you do, and we're taking vertical sections, and this is kind of a square shape that we're cutting right now. So everything is brought back, and everything's brought out, straight up and cut short to long, right? So a concave layer. We're gonna take our guide from our previous section in the back. I'm gonna elevate this hair all the way up, combing towards my guide, follow my comb like a ruler to find my angle. I'm gonna rest my blade right on my fingers, and we're cutting short to long just like that, right? We're only moving our thumb. We come up, and I'm gonna continue this angle, and you can see that by just cutting at a sharp angle, we can preserve all of this length and give us all this beautiful, beautiful soft layering, right? So we'll continue with 2 more sections through the front. And you guys know that we can only do a few different things when we're cutting hair, right? We can graduate hair, we can layer hair, we can texturize, and we can cut a line, right? And when we're texturizing or freehand cutting, we're really just layering hair because we're removing weight, right? So layers remove weight, graduation builds weight, and a line to me is gonna be something that creates a frame. So right now we're working with a concave layer, like I said, which moves from short to long, which is gonna give us the most amount of movement and remove the most amount of weight. And the reason that I'm cutting square is to save a little bit of weight in the corners. Because if I walk around with this, I'm gonna take a lot more weight out as I go. Like let's say I pivoted all the way through, like a pinwheel section. I remove a lot more weight, and she's gonna look maybe a little bit more Joan Jett, like a little bit more rock and roll, which is kinda cool, but you know, you don't wanna end up with a rock and roll mullet if you don't want one, right? Real fast way to lose a client. Mullets are in, girl, it's fine, you know? So we're gonna finish with this last section here, and you can see that by cutting dry, I save a lot of time on long hair as well. We've been up here, I've been cutting for maybe about 15 minutes, and I'm on my last section of my layers right now. Look for my guide on the other side. If you weren't here yesterday, we have this saying about guides. If you don't see your guide, it's when in doubt, chicken out. Don't just cut for the sake of cutting hair, you know? And there's a girl, I said this yesterday too, there's a girl that works at my salon named Monica. She cracks me up. She's like the funniest person I've ever met.
Monica.
And she goes, well, my saying is, if you don't see your guide, close your eyes and just let it ride. But we don't want to do that. We have to fight that. So, in only a few minutes, we've created this beautiful, soft, layered haircut with all this beautiful movement, right? And it actually created the layers around her face for me. I didn't do any face framing. The layer created my perimeter. You don't always have to go in and create that hard line perimeter, you know? And then we're gonna just take her fringe down a little bit as well. She's used to wearing a short fringe, so I've just smoothed it out. And I'm gonna use a flat hand position to cut this, right? So we have a thing called skills and drills that we do. Anybody go to a Paul Mitchell school? Yeah? You do skills and drills? So, yes, I'm in the cult too. No, the Kool-Aid is in the back if you want it. But, so we love Paul Mitchell. We use mostly Paul Mitchell in our salon. And I went to a Paul Mitchell school, and Scott Cole was my first haircutting teacher, and he had me just practicing my scissors all the time, right? So we put our scissors out in front of us, and we open and close our scissors as fast as we can. We only move our thumb until your arm starts to burn. You flip it over. You do the same thing. You flip it forward. You do the same thing. You flip it towards yourself. You do the same thing. And our last position is going to come straight up, and then we just flatten out our hand, and we're cutting flat like this. which is going to replace this, right? Like if you're like, I'm gonna cut this one length, you know, getting in there. If you can just keep your scissors flat, but relax your arm, it's gonna be much more comfortable, and you're gonna be much more versatile. You can cut straight lines, or you can cut rounded lines that way. So really simply, I'm gonna cut a straight line through her fringe with a flat hand position, and we're just gonna work that all the way across her forehead in a quick motion. Cutting just a square line. Maybe we'll taper off just a little bit in the corners and clean that up. And you can see in only just a few seconds, with a flat hand position, you've cut a nice, beautiful little baby fringe, right? All right.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. And now, I'm just gonna, her haircut is basically finished. Maybe we could come through and do a little bit of detailing and softening, but I'm gonna show you guys two different things today. So that's how I might cut hair dry on straight hair. So I'm gonna have you hop up, and you can actually have a seat on the stage right over there. And I'm gonna bring out my second model and show you guys how to cut
That was so fast.
curly hair as well. My second model could come out, please. Look at this beautiful, gorgeous curly hair. Oh my goodness, right? So exciting. I saw her, I was sitting behind her in another class, and I was like, she's gonna be my model tomorrow. She's not going anywhere.
Put it
So
in the universe.
I chloroformed her, and then we brought her backstage. No. Okay. So, and you can see, you'll see the difference in what I'm doing with this. You can see her shape right now is very flat this way, but she has all this nice softness around her face. I wanna define that fringe and expand this shape. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started.
All right, so I'm still over here starting. My sections are, I've got one rectangle. Let's see, I'll show you this side. It's a mirror of the opposite side. So I've got, you see these two pieces right here? It's just one long rectangle. I want this color to veil over. On one side, my last foil was a pink, so I'm gonna make sure that on the other side, it's not a pink, the last one. So I might start from the top and then work my way down so that it's the opposite. Like I said, I want her to have a ton of different looks within one color. So if you look inside of the foils, the first one I did kind of like a balayage technique. I like doing this on the top foil because it kind of helps it not be so severe. And yesterday, one thing that I didn't show is like at the shampoo, right before I take my model to the shampoo bowl, I'll usually take one color and shadow root all on top of all of the colors that are within these. But today what I've done is I've just kind of built it in. So I went and I did the shadow root to the pink. That didn't work out as well as I thought. And in here it's to purple. So I'm just doing slices right now, and I'm doing slices at a diagonal because I know that slices, if they went vertically, are gonna be lines. Slices, when they go horizontally, are gonna be like veils of color. They literally turn into like confetti strands of hair, and it's really hard to see the color grouping together. They mix really well, but doing it diagonally is kind of like the best of both worlds. So I'm doing two right around the side of her head. I'm leaving a space in between that, and then I have one big giant diamond right on the top of her head. Now I'm using that right here because this hair has so much motion and movement. I always like to pick hair that isn't stationary. So the hair around your face, like right around your face or on any of your perimeters, it's a waste to put a lot of color there because it will stay there. If you put color right on the top of somebody's head, right where their whorl is, maybe in front of it, what'll happen is it will literally style itself completely different ways for you so that you don't actually have to do that. And I really like when people have cowlicks because I can totally use those cowlicks as like the start of a color because I know that it's already gonna expand even when they comb their hair straight. So I'm gonna use traditional foiling. I know that this hair kind of comes back here, so I'll probably start with my sections going horizontal and then move in that same circle to sections that are going horizontal the opposite way or perpendicular to that. That way, once again, there's like many different looks that she'll get, and it'll be super confusing for her hairdresser at home to recreate it, and I'm always be the best, right? But yeah, and right in here, the piece in the middle is just gonna be mint. Now, I am using all the confetti collection from Joico that just won Stylish Choice Awards yesterday.
Woohoo!
Yes, who uses Joico? We all do now because they're the best. Yeah, so who went to the Stylish Choice Awards yesterday? Yeah, I think that Jake, Larissa, and I all wanted to just share with you guys that we lost an icon in our industry this year, and we wanted to use this presentation to pay respects to Fabio Cementilli. And so if you guys don't know who he is, take a good look. And Larissa has a little bit to say about him.
I really can't even talk about it because I cry every single time. He was just such a good human being, an icon in our industry. Who knows what we're talking about? Yeah? Yeah. I'm going to get really teary-eyed, but he's an amazing person, and we're actually doing Beauty Gives Back. So basically, if anyone wants to donate money to this charity, basically have his legacy stay alive, because he's such an amazing person. And I will be posting more about it on our social medias, about where you can donate and where this is gonna go to. But I think everyone should just give him a round of applause, because he was so amazing. And I can't talk anymore because I'm going to start crying, so I'm going to stop right there. But we will all be posting about it, where you guys can go on what link and support the cause. Okay, so back to the hair before I start crackling again. So as you guys can tell, I took diagonal forward sections that way and diagonal forward sections this way. I mean, I'm basically done. I'm just kind of like going really slow, I got like 2 more sections to go. But as you can tell, I'm just surface painting. And so she's gonna have all this beautiful brightness here, and then she's gonna have all these beautiful baby lights here, so it's gonna be a really nice gradual blend. I really love keeping my clients natural bases, because that way it's so low maintenance for them, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have clients who are like, I want to see you every 4 to 6 weeks. All right, girl, if you want to spend your money, you do your thing, But in reality, I want my clients to look amazing for months and months to come. So I always try to talk them into keeping their natural base, so that way it can just grow out really beautiful. And this is such a great technique. You'll be seeing it on my Instagram, the actual final result, because unfortunately it's our last day here. How sad. But don't worry, we'll be back next year. Woohoo! Yeah, right? And so I'm taking diagonal forward sections, and I'm just using my mesh to kind of make sure that I'm not causing any, what do you call it? Bleeding or water or marks, whatever you want to call it.
Holidays.
Yeah, that too. So now I'm stuck with 2 sections left. If I really wanted to be nice, and if it's like one of my clients that just been coming to me for a really long time, and something just happened in her life and she can't afford a full service, what I would do is I would actually do the same thing as a halo, what I'm doing right now, but I would be surfacing the bottom section and the top section so she can have more brightness, all right? But this time I wanted to show you something really simple, really easy. How many here people are students? A lot of students in the house, wow. How many people here have only been a stylist for 2 years? Nice. How many people here feel like this industry can be really tough sometimes?
Wow. There you go.
Yeah. So let me tell you a little quick story about my life, and hopefully it can kind of inspire you a little bit. If you haven't read my blog, it's on my blog, but I'll just give you kind of a rundown. I was a waitress 6 years ago. And I'm going to start crying. Emotional day.
She hated serving food.
I was a waitress. Oh, my God. Okay, but I was a waitress for 3 years at Rainforest Cafe. I mean, I never want to go in there again. Too many thunderstorms. But anyways, and that's what got me through beauty school. My parents, how many parents did not like you going to beauty school? How many of them did not support you, right? And it's tough when your parents don't support you doing that. So I got myself through beauty school by being a waitress for 3 years. And I'm so thankful for that, because it kind of showed me, gave me a good character, and know how to talk to people. How many people here want to be on stage like us? Yeah? How many people think that they can do it? Nice.
Good answer.
Everyone should think that they can do it, because you can do it. And let me tell you why. Because I was not one of those people that ever thought I was going to be on stage. In fact, I was always against teaching. I'm like, these are my techniques. I don't want to tell the world. I don't want to share. I'm going to keep them all to myself, right? But one thing led to another. I taught a class. I fell in love with it. And if you really want to be where we are, there's no period of you just being at the top. We all started from the bottom just like you guys, okay? So if you really want to do it, you got to hustle, you got to grind, you got to get on social media, you got to post, you're not going to sleep, but that's okay because you got to pay in order to actually get to where you want to be. Who wants to be here? Up here, okay? Who believes in it? I promise you guys, you can be here next year if you really wanted to. Contact CosmoProf, contact the brands that you want, go for it. Just take risk, and with great risk comes great reward, right? Amen to that.
All right, so I'm working on her haircut right now, and you can notice the difference in what I'm doing. I told her to come in, I wanted her to come in with her hair how it naturally is. How are you always gonna wear it? And I learned a saying from an old mentor of mine. You can either embrace your curl or you can erase your curl, right? And I love when people will embrace their curl. You can see that I embrace mine as well. But, so I wanted her to come in with her natural curl, and I'm just really working very free with this and thinking about how is the curl going to contract when I pull it and cut it, right? So I'm working on the surface of the curl mostly, trying to find what we refer to as like the rhythm of the curl. Like where are the separate points of this like coil. And that's where I want to cut, so I don't disrupt the way the curl moves all that much, right? And I'm thinking about it, I'm moving it and shaking it out just a little bit, not raking my hands through it. I don't want to frizz it out, but I do want to see how it's going to move and how it's going to shake for her. And then I'm going to pull that out just a little bit where I think there's a little bit of excess weight or length. I twist it in the direction that the curl wants to move, and then working off the surface, I'm just closing just a little bit to remove that little bit of weight. And when I'm working on the perimeter, I'm usually working a little bit stronger, where if I see something that I want to take off, I'm just going ahead and coming in and taking it off. And you can do the whole haircut that way as well. It's gonna be a little bit more blunt. When you come on the surface, it's gonna be a little bit softer and have a little bit of a softer flow. Now we can already see when we look at her from the side, from what we had when she came in, was this very like sharp, you know, octagon shape in the back. And now we have this nice flow where it's working really nicely with her curl, and we're starting to add in the fringe, which I really love for her. I mean, she's so gorgeous, you know what I mean? So if you add a little bit of softness, if you add, it's a problem.
Always flirting with his models.
So, I mean, it's not flirting if it's absolutely true. I mean, come on. But, so, and it's easy to see why we might want to add some softness around her face. Because when we put lines places, we draw the eye, right? So if we add a fringe right here, we're going to draw the eye to her eyes, to her eyebrows, to framing her face, right? So when I add that in, it opens her face up, and it frames her out really nicely, and I think she looks absolutely gorgeous. What do you guys think? Do you like the fringe on her?
Beautiful.
All right, I'm just going to keep on going with her until we get the shape right.
All right, so one of the things that I feel is very important to tell you guys is that when I started foiling like this with direct dyes, I would have little pockets of holidays or pieces that maybe didn't deposit as well as I wanted them to. And when you're charging what you're worth, you want to minimize the amount of mistakes. So actually, one simple technique that I use, I have ADD a little bit, so I need to remember what I did. So who has ADD?
Who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't? Go away. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so one of the things that I do is I want to work with my direct dyes like I work with my demi-permanent colors. I want to use it with something that's super familiar to me when I'm foiling. I don't have a chance to, I like not having to wipe my hands a lot because I'm doing foil work, but in order to push that color through, what I did, and some of you saw over here, is I added water to my direct dyes until it got to the thinness and the consistency that I like so that it penetrates. And don't be afraid to do that. It's not against the rules. It's the first ingredient in most direct dyes. It's okay. But yeah, it'll thin it out and it'll help you have another way that you can use your direct dyes.